Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Well, welcome to the first Friday of doing weekly topics of People's Choice. So I had posted that I had surpassed about 1,000 videos on YouTube. Thank you for all your love and support. I truly couldn't do it without you. And now I'm gearing it down and narrowing it down to what you want, what you're looking for, what questions, insight, or techniques and skills that you like to learn about. And this week's choice was starting off about learning about parenting skills and techniques to help new parents, existing parents, to-be parents, or parents of young children. So let's jump into it. So, as a parent, we must learn that we are our children's first role model. We are their hero. We are their inspiration. And what we do 9 times out of 10 is molded and pouring the foundation of who they become. Now, whether you're a parent for 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, and so forth, this still reigns true that you only want the best for your children. My father always said to me, I am only as happy as my unhappiest child. Growing up, I never really understood that. You're only happy as your unhappiest child? And then it clicked. It registered. Working with parents all over the world with different backgrounds, cultures, dynamics, lifestyles, beliefs, and creeds, the last thing a parent wants to do is to see their child hurt, sad, uncomfortable, angry, frustrated, or emotional. And so the way we want to do this is to always meet the child where they're at. Now people say, well, Andrea, how do I meet an infant, a toddler where they're at? And I've worked with families on these terms before. Many times the old traditions was that children were seen and not heard, regardless if it was a healthy or abusive household. That they didn't know enough, they didn't experience life long enough, and that their emotions and thoughts weren't expressed. They didn't feel comfortable expressing them. Well, I'm here to change that, be the change of that mindset. Listen to your children. And not only is it the spoken words of anger, frustration, and toxicity, but look at their nonverbal cues. The most important thing a parent must do is learning to always understand their child, meet them where they're at, whether that be in conversation, whether that be in their emotional state, their good state, their happy state, their sad state, their fearful state. You want to create a relationship that is not that of friendship, but that is of understanding and respect on both regard. Now, yes, as a parent, you are the authoritative figure. You are the more experienced. You are the more knowledgeable. You are the more versed. But at the same token, not everything you've done was perfect. You've made mistakes. You fell forward to your failures. But I want you to take it a step back as a parent and put into perspective on how you were raised. Remember, as creatures of habit, we repeat subconsciously or unconsciously the same mannerisms and behaviors our parents brought upon us. That can be favorable in one light and unfavorable in another. But if we are immersed in it, we don't know the difference. And how many times as parents, I've heard people say, oh my goodness, I sound just like my mother and my father. Or, oh, I sound like my mother and my father. See the difference of the tonality and the perspective? So be mindful of that. And you want to create that safe space, that trust with your child, regardless at any age, getting to their level. I've seen parents talk down to their children, talk to their children while standing up and they're sitting, or because of the height situation, they're looking down to them. How many times have you knelt down to your child and placed your hand on their shoulder for nurturance, for safety, for unconditional love, regardless if they did something right or wrong? You're molding the minds of the future. And how you treat your children is how they are going to treat others. And if we are not cognizant of our actions, behaviors, and treatments towards our children, how can we expect them to change as they develop, evolve, and transform? All households are different, whether it be who's raising them by their grandparents, same-sex marriages, different cultures, different ethnicities, different backgrounds, in a communal home where grandparents and great-grandparents are living under the same roof, cousins, friends, or a community outside their home. Their environment is also pertinent to your child's upbringing. So let's jump into a few key tips. Number 1, always listen and observe your child in an objective way. How are they feeling? How is their mood? How is their tonality? How is their posture? How is their hygiene? We are not mind readers by any shape or form, whether it's with our children or our spouses, our family members, or our coworkers, or even our friends. It's important that you build a community of trust with your children at any age, at any stage, for this allows them to have a strong support system and network. Now, some people have addressed, well, what if my household is toxic and my friends or cousins isn't? Well, you must be brave enough to share this with someone. Hey, you know what? My mom and dad are always this way, but I see how your family treats you. How is that possible? Be bold enough and brave enough to speak up as children. Hey, this is how I felt when you said or didn't do this. Parents, we must be providing that sound, stable, steel structure. Come to me if you are concerned. I won't be upset. I'd rather know how you're feeling or what's going on rather than it be too late. Communication is key. And if you have difficulty communicating with your child, whether they're fearful or they have shyness or introvert, qualities, find a different way to communicate. Be invested in your child to learn the interest of what they're at. I have worked with many parents who said, it's difficult to my child. I'm a parent. They don't want to hear from me. Well, what are your children's interests? Explore those interests so you can gain interest and learn from them. We're learning in conjunction, both as parents, as coaches, as well as from our children. If your child is interested in cooking, that should be a safe communal space where you can learn as well as communicate effectively with them. If they're an athlete, if they're an artist, if they're a musician, be involved in your child's life. Your children are there for you to mold and help them create an identity outside of the adversity. And that is a key. Number 2, how do we handle our own personal emotions as parents when we're dealing with our children? I'll give you some examples. If you're a parent and you're going through some rough times at your job, as many times as this is a cliche, leave your job at your job and your home, and vice versa. Allow yourself in that commute home, or as soon as you go off camera, give yourself that window of 10 to 15 minutes, if not a half hour at best, to regroup, debrief, desensitize, and reset for your children. I can't tell you how many times parents come home, and I've seen this. They're frustrated. They had a rough day at work. The work truck broke down. They got into an altercation with their coworker, or their boss just reprimanded them on their supervision. And they bring that toxicity and energy to the home. Same thing. Leave it at the front door before entering your home. Allow yourself to cleanse from the toxicity. Because believe you me, our children see it. If you have the ability to have family meals, dinner time, breakfast, lunch, whatever it may be, allow that to be a safe space of checking in on everyone. Go around the table and ask on how everyone is doing. Be engaged and invested in your children's lives, because 9 times out of 10, they're already invested in you, especially these children nowadays. They may be entitled. Some may be, expected to have things like that, but they are intuitive with the verbal, nonverbal, and emotional cues as parents, guardians, coaches, and teachers and mentors are within their environment. And finally, number 3, when was the last time that you sat down with your child and asked them, what do they want to be when they grow up? What do they love about your family? What don't they love about the family? What are their fears? What are they excited about? What are their interests? I can't tell you how many times I've dealt and communicated with families and they don't have that engagement. Whether it's financial stress amongst the family, not enough time, not enough effort. Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen? There is time. Because if you have time to binge watch a series on Netflix, if you have time to binge watch something on YouTube, if you have time to go on social media, replace that time with precious moments with your children. And if not, hey, by all means, schedule the time. Every day, we used to have on the weekends on Sunday, during Sunday evening dinner, around 4:30, we would sit around and we would talk about our week. What was the good, what was the bad, what we're looking forward to, how everybody was doing. We had busy lives, sure. My parents worked full time. I had athletics and after school activities. But if you schedule that time, even if it's 10 to 15 minutes, if you schedule that time, that is taking out the time where they go into isolation mode, where they turn to self-medication, where they turn to self-destruction, or where they might shift their energy and attention to something that's toxic and harmful. Be the face of change. Be the eyes and ears for your children. Provide unconditional love. Be that strong foundation and support system for your children, because they need it most. And I can't tell you how many children I say, well, what did your mom and dad think? Oh, they're busy. They don't know. I haven't spoken to them. I'm fearful of them. They don't have time. This is another human being that has an opportunity of life, whether they're 10, 20, 30, 50, 60-year-old adult children. Make time for them. Don't let this vicious cycle repeat. What hasn't been done for you, you're not going to give to them. Implement and incorporate. I want to give them what I didn't have when I was a child. I want to cheer them on. I want to be there when they're tearful. I want to be there when they're fearful. And I want to be there on the sideline, cheering them on all their accomplishments, goals, and successes. Ladies and gentlemen, that has concluded my segment for my weekly Friday videos. Please Comment below on your thoughts on what other topics, or if you want a next segment 2 of this topic going further. I welcome your questions, your comments, and I thank you for all of your support. Next week, I'm going to do another one on those threads. I believe the comment, if I can check, hold on. So next week's segment, we're going to talk about abuse and bullying, any age, any stage, and how you can manage it and minimize it and also eliminate it. So if you want to tune in and want to comment on any questions you have around that topic, throw them in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. It truly helps out the channel. I want to help everyone as much as possible. I may not be for everyone, but someone is listening, someone is watching. My name is Andrea Mason, your first choice, your personal accountability coach under the mentorship of Dr. Les Brown, as well as the creator and innovator of Press Play. Plan Life According to You, LLC, as your personal accountability coach. Check out AndreaMasons.com. My book is coming out soon. Just the countdown is slowly approaching. Thank you so much. Like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Share my information out on your platforms to reach more, as I am all about choosing to rise and unite and not conquer divide. Thank you so much. I'll see you next Friday with the topics of abuse and bullying. If you have any questions, comments, or what you want to talk about in that arena, throw it in the comments. Thank you, and I'll see you real soon. Be well.